What's going on, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Thanks so much for joining me today. In today's video, we're going to do episode 4 of the Instagram Q&A. You can find the Instagram Q&As on Mondays Pacific Standard Time in the morning at noah.cavanaugh. I post a story up on my Instagram and I get all of the questions, respond to them really quickly in a 10-second video for the Instagram stories, and then I take all of those and I respond long form here on YouTube. So it's a great opportunity to get your answers more in depth, and it's a great opportunity for us to connect on a deeper level, which is great. Let's hop right into it. A quick reminder too, down in the description box below, there will be a Discord link for the Discord chat that I have started for a group of footballers. Anybody is able to join. Of course, we're talking about football stuff. I've got pre-release of the thumbnails and video ideas that are going to be coming out in the future, so you'll get all sorts of pre-release stuff there, and it's a great way to ask your questions. I will add them to these Q&As as well. Let's hop into the Q&A right away. Question number 1, what can we do to maintain strength while in lockdown? So this is a pretty easy question, I think. A lot of it has to do with the equipment you have. So if you do have weights or you do have things around the house that are a little heavier, you can totally use that. I've used a pole before, just having a broom, and done a workout there. I've done all sorts of strength workouts with jugs of water, etc., things like that. If you do have sets of dumbbells, you can do all sorts of strength workouts there. I'd say probably the number one way to improve your strength, especially in the lower body, is to go and do plyometric training. Plyometric has to do with body weight exercises. You can add weights as well to hold them close to your chest and doing squat jumps or whatever else you're going to do. But plyometrics are a great way to improve explosiveness, and it's also a great way to get endurance training because you can do it for 30 seconds at a time as opposed to, say, a barbell squat, which you're only going to do probably max 15 reps if you're doing 4 reps or you're doing hypertrophy training, stuff like that. So I would say if you're going to try to build strength, hill sprints are great. You can do all sorts of plyometric stuff, and then using weights around your house or things that are weighted to do curls or chest press or lunges or anything like that that'll really help. Just making sure you get creative with it, I think, is awesome. I have tons of videos on at-home strength training programs that I did in Australia that you can go check out. They're quite a bit back, so just make sure you scroll down. I will put a couple of them down in the description box below, but that's an idea of things that you can do to keep strength up while you're in quarantine and while you're at home. Question number 2. How did you manage to balance training and studying while you were at uni? So I knew well before I went to uni that I wanted to play professional soccer. Professional soccer has always been a dream of mine, and it's always been something that I've continued to push for. So yes, school was important, but it was something that my parents both said, hey, you've got to finish and get your degree before we let you go and play professional soccer. I could have said screw you, but that wasn't really the right idea, especially because I was able to get an education out of it and play football at the school at the same time. So I would say I did the best I could. I most of the time looked at the classes that I was taking and I said, okay, what is the absolute necessary work that I need to get done to get good grades? I didn't get great grades in school, but I got good grades in school, good enough, I guess. Absolutely passing grades, but I wasn't the top student and I wasn't the bottom student. I was somewhere in the middle. So that's just something, especially in uni, it gets much more difficult. You get much more concentrated with what you're studying. So it helped that I was really interested in what I was studying, but I also wasn't super stressed about being the top student because I knew that it wasn't the thing that I was going to do immediately after, and I knew that self-learning, so i.e. all of the things that I have for YouTube that make me money and photographs and freelance videography stuff that I've learned outside of school are the things that actually help me succeed, whereas school is a little bit built differently. Like, it's kind of built for you have to stay within the lines, which isn't really the way that my brain worked. So long story short, how did I balance training? I trained all the time in uni because we had such good facilities. I think that's something that if you are going to go to uni, really take advantage of the facilities that you have, especially if you're in an American university. We have some of the best college facilities here, bar none. There is, I would say that the college facilities here are better than the majority of the professional sports facilities, not just in football, but in American football, baseball, basketball, like all that. The college facilities are incredible. And all of the PTs, all of the physiotherapists, all the massage stuff that comes with, and recovery equipment, you name it, is all in the college. So I would say the biggest thing that I would focus on is, again, if your goal is just to play college soccer, that's fantastic. Play college soccer, but make sure you're doing good in school, make sure you're doing things outside of school, you got side hustles, all that stuff. But if your goal is to go pro, I would say do what's absolutely necessary in school. Don't worry about whether you're top student or bottom student. It doesn't, well, don't be bottom student because that would be stupid. But you know, you don't have to be top student. I hate to say that, but you don't have to be top student to be successful in life. That's not how that works. And just do what you need to do for each class to make a really decent effort at passing the class, and you'll pass the class, I'm sure. But then focus most of your time on training, and that's what I did, and I did just fine. So that's how I would go. On top of that, I also went to a pretty difficult university to get into. I went to a really good school, and I still ended up with, I think my college GPA was like a 3.3, 3.4 maybe. So again, wasn't bad, but it also wasn't like incredible. All my other classmates, it seemed, had 3 9s and 4 0s and all this stuff. And you know, again, like my brain doesn't work that way. My brain wasn't built really for college school, and it wasn't really built to stay within the lines. I'm sort of a entrepreneurial type thinker. So again, it just depends on who you are, but I would just say balance it as best you can, train a lot. Question number 3. Would you be keen on me sourcing you a pair of Hypervenom 3s? Okay, if you can't tell from the immediate reaction that I just had, yes, please. Would absolutely love that. You know who you are. That is my favorite boot of all time. It is genuinely the best boot I've ever worn, and it fits my foot. It's the shoe that fit my foot the absolute best, no matter what. Like, no other boot has fit that well. I think there are boots that have come really close. Magista Obra 1 is one case. I think the Mizuno Morelia made in Japan is a very comfortable boot. The Mizuno Revula Cup is also a really beautiful boot that I love and I'm currently wearing. But again, as far as performance, you've got performance, lightweight, the sock-like material, seamless sensation on feet, the way that it felt to play in them. Hypervenom 3, by far my favorite boot on the market. So you know who you are. I would love a pair of those. So hit me up, let me know. Question number 4, tips for young defenders. So this is actually a great, I love this question because I think if you are really interested in defending at a really young age, I think that's super cool. Not a lot of people are, because they want to be like Neymar or Messi. They want to score goals, and scoring goals is also great. But especially when you have a passion for defending, if you're like a Chiellini or Bonucci or one of those really, really raw defenders who just loves defending, the couple things I would focus on: 1, play as many 1v1s as you possibly can with your friends and family. So give them the ball, let them come at you, defend. Learn how to position your body, learn how to make tackles at the right time. That's something that's super, super important, and it's helped my game a ton in defending. Defend one-on-one at speed. That's a great thing to start with. Number 2 is really work on your distribution skills. So once you get the ball, what are you going to do with it, right? You can't just win the ball and then piss off, you know, right? Like, you can't just win it and then have somebody else come take it. You got to be able to play the ball. So work on recovery, so that defending one-on-one. Work on your distribution. Number 3, to round out that top 3, I would say, is work on your physicality and your heading in the air. So your aerial ability, both defending and going towards goal, so attacking. So being able, like Ramos, to score goals, but then also come back on a corner kick and defend a corner kick, that is one of the most valuable things you can have as a defender. So those are the three things I would say really, really make sure you hone in on. But again, playing 1v1s for young defenders, go out on the street with your siblings, with friends or whatever, and just play 1v1v1v1 or 2v2 or whatever, and learn how to defend, body position, all that stuff. That's super important. Great question. Question number 5. Do you swap out the current insoles with other sport custom insoles for comfort, etc.? I do not. I have tried carbon fiber insoles like Victory, and although I think they're fantastic for shoes, training shoes, running shoes, that kind of stuff, I am really opposed to wearing them in my boots unless they were paper thin, because I like to be as close to the ground as possible, and I don't like insoles that are super hard, so I can't grip the ground with my toes as best as I can. Because I love being barefoot, I wear barefoot shoes most of the time, and I just think it's better for my feet if I don't have that crazy support in them for comfort, because I find boots that are comfortable anyway. So good question, but I don't tend to put insoles in them. Question number 6. How can international students get to NCAA universities in the US? That is an awesome question, and I think it's really complicated, but I think it starts with contacting as many people on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, contact YouTubers, contact coaches that you can get on the way. It's easy to find emails and phone numbers from coaches in America, and you can go on any of the D1, D2, D3, NAIA, JUCO, any of those leagues, but obviously this question was about NCAA, so you can go on literally 100% of NCAA websites for the colleges. So for Whitman, right, you go Whitman College. For me, it would be men's soccer roster. You go to the bottom, Coach Cedeno is on the bottom, and you click on his name, and it'll have his whole bio plus his contact information. Send your CV, send your highlight video, explain your situation, see if you can get any sort of scholarships, scholarship offers, and or contacts. Make sure you have references. All of those things are really important, and send those to as many coaches as possible. And if that doesn't work, if that's not working, then it might be worth looking into contacting an agency or some other company that either hosts tryouts in the sense of they bring you in and you play in a tournament showcase in America or in another country, or you can contact people like OPSM who sign foreign players who bring them over to play professionally or in the NCAA or the Canadian League, etc. So I think those are a couple different ways that you can go about it. It is a complicated system. I wish I knew more answers, and I will try to find more answers or try to find people who know better about it. But that is my ideas for if you are outside the United States and you want to play inside for college. Just make sure you have a good highlight video, you have a good CV, and then you get as connected as possible on every social media platform you possibly can. Question number 7, advice for international players to get recruited to play D1 college soccer. Very similar to the question that I just answered, so rewind and listen to that back again. But again, what I would say is it's all about connections, and it's all about making your name known, because otherwise you're never going to get recruited, right? So make that highlight video, make that CV, get those both connections in your home country, coaches that have coached you before, get those references, send them out, and call coaches during the workday, and hopefully you'll get some bites, and it'll be a great opportunity for you to play D1 here in the US. Question 8, do you have an email for more specific and detailed questions? Yes, I do. You can go to my website, noahcavanaugh.com, www.noahcavanaugh.com. You can go all the way to the bottom, or you can click the contact page and you can go to the website, and at the bottom you type your name and your email, and then you go into the description and you type your email. The other option is you just contact at noahcavanaugh.com. It's the same thing, so whether you go through my website or just email me at contact at noahcavanaugh.com, either way it'll come through that same email chain, and I'll be able to answer your questions more specifically through there. So that's a great way. Make sure you go to the website as well. You can pick up merch and sign up for Zoom calls as well. Question number 9, final question here. Do you have a count of how many cards you've received, any memorable ones? That's an awesome question. I love this. And this is also coming from a great friend of mine who I love dearly. So thank you for this. You know who you are. So I've only had 3 cards in my entire life. I've had 2 yellows and a red. The first yellow was a really interesting one. Basically, I want to say I was 14 or 15, and I went up for a high kick and tried to trap the ball. The other guy came in, went really low for the header, and then came up and flipped me over kind of on purpose. We ended up both getting a yellow card, and I think I ended up with a free kick somehow. But that was my first yellow card. It was a total fluke. I didn't really think twice about it, but that's one. Second yellow card I got was maybe I got 2 in college, maybe 2 yellow cards in college. One of them I know was for arguing with the referee, which was stupid. I shouldn't do that. And the second one was for a tackle. I tackled somebody really hard. They were really getting on my nerves, and it was a fair tackle. It was a fair tackle. It was just a really hard tackle. So I got a yellow for that. And then I got a straight red in Australia. If you didn't see the video, I think I posted one. God, it was almost a year ago now. I got a straight red card because I was leaning down to grab the ball, and this guy who was he genuinely was one of the worst players in the entire league. Like, I don't understand how he still plays in the league, but he was like walking right past me because I hit the ball off of him, and as I was coming up, he elbowed me in the head. Ref didn't see it because he was whatever, and then I came and swiped him. And again, it was stupid. It was an emotional reaction. I shouldn't have done it. It was totally my fault, and I deserved the red card. But that red card, if I was going to get a red and a 2-match ban or whatever, I should have hit him harder. Genuinely. I'm one of those people. I'm like, if you're going to do it hard, you know? So anyway, no malice towards the guy. I don't have any, we played them again and we absolutely slaughtered them. So it wasn't a big deal to me. And I have no hard feelings against the guy. It was just an emotional reaction in the moment. So those are the only 3 or 4 cards. I can't remember if I got 1 or 2 in college. But anyway, only 3 or 4 cards in my entire career, which I don't really know if that says anything, but it is what it is. So I definitely am an aggressive player, but oftentimes I'm pretty clean, and usually I'm the captain of a team. At least the teams that I've played on, I've been in the leadership group or the captain of a squad, whether it be in college or at the pro level. And usually I'm a player who gets the peacemaking type thing. So if something crazy happens, I'm usually the guy who breaks it up, which is, what it is. I'm very competitive, don't get me wrong, but that's the way that I operate when crazy conflict happens between myself and another guy. I'm usually the guy to just say, hey, look, I'm going to kick your ass, but it's going to be with respect, That's it for the video, guys. Thanks so much for joining me. If you do want to submit your questions, go to the link below. Join the Discord chat, ask as many questions as you'd like. I'll add those to next week's Instagram Q&A, or you can go follow me on Instagram. I post tons of soccer content there, little training videos, thumbnails, all sorts of boot photos, all that stuff included in my training, plus reels and all that, at noah.cavanaugh. Go check that out, hit that follow button. Of course, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video if you got value from it. As always, guys, be awesome, take care. I'll see you guys in the next video.